Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we've got another ATSC 3 tuner to check out. This is the long-awaited Zinwell tuner, and this one was supposedly going to allow you to tune DRM encrypted channels over ATSC 3 without the internet. That claim, false. Let's get to it. Now, they call this the Nextgen TV box. It sells for $149. That is the price that I paid for it over at Channel Master. And I do want to let you know, in the interest of full disclosure, that I paid for this with my own funds. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. No one is sponsoring this video, nor has anyone reviewed or approved it before it was uploaded. Now, this is designed to work with televisions that don't have an ATSC 3 tuner already built in. And so if you don't want to buy a new TV, but you do want to pick up the new over-the-air TV signals from an ATSC 3 tower, this will do that for you, in addition to picking up the old ATSC 1.0 signals too. And it's pretty simple to operate here. You just plug in your antenna right here, you plug it into power over here, and connect your television up over HDMI, and you can start watching television. Now, what's important to note here, though, is that this is not a DVR, so it won't record anything. You can't pause live TV. You can't send the video to your phone or your tablet or whatever. All it does is it receives the signals, decodes those signals, and puts it on the television that it is plugged into. Now, the setup process on this was very easy. Once I plugged it in, it started searching for channels in my area, and it found about 60 of them in roughly 5 minutes or so. Very fast setup process, and I was up and running very quickly. The interface is very simple, but very polished. It has a nice channel guide that you can pull up to see what's on TV. I purposely kept it off the internet. I'll talk more about that in a second, just to see what it could get over the air. And it did fill in most of what was on TV just from the digital signals it was receiving. You can navigate that channel guide and find something to watch, or you can hit the channel button up and down to browse the interface that way. You don't get much information, though, about signal strength or quality, although it will tell you the resolution of what you are receiving. So very minimal information here, very Spartan interface, but I think it's designed for people to just navigate and watch television without a lot of extra bells and whistles. One thing I would have liked to have seen was the ability to exclude some channels from the list. It doesn't look like you can do that at the moment, so some of the channels that I can't receive all that well, I couldn't take off the grid or prevent from being tuned. Now, this is the packed-in remote control, a pretty lightweight plastic remote. It is, though, programmable, so it can control your television in addition to the tuner here. It works over infrared, so the tuner does need to be visible to the remote control at all times. This red button here is for displaying emergency information that comes down to the box over ATSC 3. This app button will pull up additional content that is accompanying the ATSC 3 content. At the time I'm shooting this video, nothing was getting broadcasted that took advantage of this feature, but in the future it'll prompt you. You can hit the button and get additional information alongside what you are watching on television. This button here pulls up your tuner options. There actually isn't much to go through here, but if you wanted to do another channel scan, you could here. And this button is for your Android settings. Now, just like all of the other ATSC 3 tuners that we have looked at, this box is running Android under the hood. You don't see much of the Android operating system here because it just boots right into its tuning application, but it is running Android, and the reason it's running Android is because at the moment, Android is the only operating system that supports the DRM encryption that the broadcasters insist be part of this new standard. And the big deal about this box was that the industry claimed that it would not require an internet connection to operate. And that's also something that was on the Channel Master page from the website that I bought it at here. It says, here it is, certified to carry the logo, and the Zinwell whatever will be security verified to operate without needing an internet connection. Except when you get the thing opened up here, the first thing you'll see in the quick start guide is that in order to watch encrypted programs, it is necessary to connect to the internet in first-time installation. The English isn't so great on this. And sure enough, that was the case, because when I first set this up, I purposely did not get it onto my local network. And when I tried to tune one of the 2 channels that are encrypted in my area, I got a message that said, you need to connect to the internet first in order to watch this TV station. So this claim that this doesn't require an internet connection is totally false. Now, if you connect it to the internet and then tune into that protected channel, it will tune it. And then if you disconnect the internet, you can watch it without having to get another connection to do it. However, this is on a channel-by-channel basis. So when I got the first channel working, I disconnected the internet, I rebooted it, and when I came back up, sure enough, I could watch that channel again. But when I tuned to the other channel that's encrypted here, I could not watch that one until I got it connected again. So now that I've looked at both of those stations on the internet, I can now watch them without the internet, but I don't know how long it will run for before it needs to go back out to the internet again to reclaim its security credentials. So I will come back to this in a week or two when I see how long those certificates last. But I have a feeling that it's going to check in every once in a while and likely need to do so in order to keep watching those encrypted channels without an internet connection. Now, you can go out and buy these cheap $30 tuners for ATSC 1.0 that never even need an internet connection at all and never do. This one is going to require that connection at some point in the future in order to keep operating, whether it's to get these security credentials or get some kind of firmware update. It's just not working as they claimed it would. And speaking of firmware updates, the update process on this is one of the most consumer unfriendly processes I have ever seen. What you have to do is go into the Android settings, go to the app menu, manually load up this updater app, download the update. You then have to give the downloader app permission to install APK files, basically sideloading its own update. After you do that, the update goes in and you're back up and running again. I don't know how anyone who's not tech savvy is going to be able to navigate those menus or understand what's going on. Now, according to the system information, this is running Android 11. The last security update that the installed operating system on the box received was from August of 2021. So this thing's coming out in February of 2024, about 2.5 years behind on its security updates, yet they want you connected to the internet all the time in order to watch encrypted channels. So that's a problem. And once again, I'm just overly frustrated by the fact that we are continually told one thing, and when these products arrive here on the table, they don't do what they claim that they can do. Yes, you can watch this without an internet connection at some point, but to start watching a DRM protected channel, you can't do it without an internet connection. And once again, we've shown that the industry is full of it on this new standard, and I think it is just awful for consumers to add this layer of complexity to the mix. So keep the pressure on the FCC. We need to make sure that DRM is not part of this standard when the transition begins in a couple of years away from ATSC 1 to ATSC 3. That said, I like the ATSC 3 standard. I think it's a major improvement for over-the-air television. The quality of the video is superb. I found the signal is much better where I live here as well, and it's a shame they're ruining it with this DRM layer and then essentially lying to customers about the capabilities of these boxes and what's required to watch TV over the public airwaves. One other note on this, maybe two other notes. There is a USB port here, as you can see. This actually does allow you to sideload applications that you have on USB sticks. Maybe we'll explore that in a future video. We'll see if they lock that down in the future. And the HDMI port here is not encrypted, just like the ADTH box we looked at previously. So you don't have an encrypted signal even from DRM protected channels coming out of that HDMI. And that was how we were able to capture the footage you saw today. So we'll probably come back to this one in the near future. But in the meantime, if you haven't already, please do write to the FCC about how bad this DRM is and how we need to make sure it's not part of the standard. I've got instructions down in the video description. That's going to do it for now. Thank you all for tuning in. Also be sure to check out my friend the Antenna Man, who I am sure will be looking at this box as well, and he'll have some good insights to add on to what we discussed here. That's going to do it for now. Until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold level supporters Brian Parker, Budley, Hot Sauce and Video Games, Steve Green, and Amda Brown. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to Lon.TV/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit Lon.TV/s.